behind the barn whooping. And not how I wanted the Summer League to finish and how I wanted that to round out. The Lakers are officially eliminated from the actual tournament to get a chance to win the Summer League championship. That is now officially set. So the games tomorrow, they're just kind of playing just to play. But the Lakers really miss Max Christie out there. Max Christie, as I've said on numerous occasions, was arguably the best player in Summer League. He was great. Just his efficiency, shooting nearly 60% from three, shooting 55% from the floor, his defense, and just everything. Like, the Lakers were just so much better with him on the court. And for those that are wondering that maybe didn't see the game, it was pretty bad. Like, if you were wondering why the Lakers needed Max Christie, well, this was the halftime score, 51-22. The Lakers had 9 points at the end of the first quarter, and 6 of them were from Shafino. And then the final score was 100-69. Now, I'm not saying that Max Christie would have necessarily won the game, but I do think it would have been a lot different because he was kind of doing the backload or front load scoring. Like, you'd see him at halftime, he'd have like 16 points, and then he'd finish the game with like 24 and just letting other guys get involved and stuff, just kind of getting his reps in. Max Christie also wasn't out there going 100%. He wasn't out there trying to really hurt himself or anything like that. Unfortunately, he did, and that's why he ended up sitting out. But, it was the last game. And look, we got the look that we wanted from Max Christie, right? We got to see enough to know, like, okay, this guy could be a real guy this year and a guy that could actually make an impact and earn rotation minutes. I absolutely could see him playing a significant role on this Lakers team, especially over the course of the regular season. Talked about it before. You make an argument the shooting guard position is the least depth behind the center position. Obviously, we need another center, but the shooting guard position, you have Austin Reeves. You could play Taurean Prince at the 2, Cam Reddish maybe, but more likely than not, I could see D'Lo getting some minutes at the 2 because he was so good off the ball, but they could just go straight forward and go like D'Lo, Reeves, and then go Gabe Vincent, and then Max Christie at that 1 and 2 spot. That I think would be great and would be fine. And Max Christie really had himself a summer league. And look, it sucks that this game was boring and not even close to being competitive. I mean, it was pretty much over in the first 5 minutes of the game. They were up like 16-0 or something like that for a long time. It was an absolute mess of a game. Guys just couldn't hit shots. Guys were just flat and all over the place. Nobody really had a rhythm this game. It was rough. And it sucks because we started Summer League 2-0 and to lose your last 2 games, right? If they would have won this game, it sucks. You go 3-1. We also would have had a chance to be the Final 4 teams, depending on how much we won this game by. It would have been nice to see a little more from this Lakers team, and it would have been nice to, with Max Christie not in the game, it would have been really nice to kind of see these other guys step up, get more of an opportunity, kind of take Max Christie shots and maybe deliver in a sense. But nobody really stood out this game. The only one that shot anything of efficient was Colin Castleton was 5 of 10. He was 50% from the field with 11 points. And then you had Figueroa, who was 7 of 10 with 15 points. And he had that big like highlight dunk and stuff, which was basically the highlight of the game period. But again, you can't put too much stock in a summer league, right? The idea is to see like how do these guys look over the course of summer league? What guys do you have interest in? What guys do you think really kind of stood out in moments? What guys could potentially earn that 15th roster spot? And then that way you can bring another guy into a two-way. Right now, our two-way contracts are you have Hodge and you have Castleton, and then you have Cole Swider. Cole Swider, I don't see staying on a two-way. I don't. Even if the Lakers don't bring anybody up from the two-ways, like a Colin Castleton or a Hodge, I just don't think Cole Swider showed enough this summer league to warrant him to remain on a two-way. He's 24 years old, and he looked worse this summer league than he did last year. Like he's not good at basketball, right? As silly as that sounds, because he's a basketball player, not to the level of like the NBA, right? Like he's really good at shooting the basketball. It's what he's really great at, and he's very good at that. Although the last 2 games he's been kind of rough, But he's still, when he's on, he's on. Problem is, he does nothing else remotely decent, right? Like, he's 6'9". He might as well be 5'2". Like, the guy he doesn't use his size. He has zero athleticism. He has zero quickness, zero foot speed. And it sucks because I was really rooting for Colin Castleton, right? Like, I was last year hyping him up, talking about how, like, hey, this is a guy that the Lakers, if they develop him and all that stuff, he's a G League guy. He'll give you 17 points a game in the G League. You know, he'll shoot 43% from three. He's solid. But there's plenty of guys that have been really good at G Leagues. There's been MVP guys in the G League, right? Guys that have been just dominant, ridiculously dominant in the G League, and they just never translate to the NBA. And Cole Swider's 24 years old now, and in a year, you've seen no real improvement at anything, right? I mean, the shooting, he already had that. I was really hoping to see more from him, and it's disappointing. And I'll start tomorrow, because now that the Lakers Summer League is basically over, I'll start breaking down players and kind of give my thoughts and, you know, individual videos, and then also the two ways, like, who do I think takes Cole Swider's spot. But it's just, I was really disappointed in Cole. I really, really thought he would be able to step up, but he just was getting abused, just low IQ decision making. He's constantly turning the ball over on just silly plays, trying to do too much. And I don't know if it's nerves. I don't know if he's trying to do too much to earn a spot on the roster, or he's just really that bad. But it sucks to say. He just is. But I mean, facts are facts. Reality is reality. I really wanted to see him. I mean, the level of shooter that he is, I think could be very valuable, but you need more than just that, right? Like, could you have him as your 15th guy at the end of the bench that never plays other than in spots? Sure. But I'd rather go with the guy that has more upside and can actually maybe be a starting or rotation level guy. Cole Swider, I just don't see ever really being a rotation level player. I mean, he'd have to take huge strides, huge. So I think you let him go off the two-way. You still keep him on South Bay if you can, develop him, because what if he does take that stride in next year? Maybe he does, right? I still want success for the guy, right? I still want to see him succeed. But if somebody else wants him and somebody else wants to develop him and thinks that they can do better, then fine, let him. Go ahead, take him. It's disappointing, is my point. But Schifino and Lewis, they both had some really great moments. They both had some very raw moments, rough moments, which, you know, that's part of the game, right? They're young, they're rookies, they're coming in. It's a different environment. They were both pretty bad this game. They both gave you 8 points. But again, just nothing really standing out, nothing really to write about in this game. Schifino was 3 of 17, 2 of 9 from 3. And then Lewis was 3 of 9 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3 with 8 points. But overall, for the Summer League, I thought that they were fine, right? Again, had some bad moments, had some good moments. That's what you want to see. How do the bad moments look, and how do the good moments look? I thought the good moments outweighed the bad. I thought the good moments gave you some good glimpses and some good signs of what these guys can be. They both fill a role of what the Lakers want. You also saw Schifino, his three-point shooting kind of started to settle in as this Summer League went on, which is nice. I'm not saying he's going to be an elite three-point shooter or anything like that, but can he just be serviceable, right? Can he just be serviceable? That's all I want to see from him, right? Just give me some serviceable level three-point shooting. Because we know that he's a guy that can go point to point. He's a guy that can run the break, push the pace. He's got good size, good length, finishes strong, right? He can finish through contact. He can make plays for others. I really like what we saw from Schifino. I think Schifino can really make an impact. Not so much this year. I don't know how much he'd play this year, but I mean, I could see him getting minutes here and there. I'm not saying he's not going to play at all, but I don't think he's a rotation guy yet. But I do like what we saw from him, and I do think that there is the potential of him being that two-way sizable combo guard that can play point in a pinch, that can play shooting guard in a pinch. If he can develop his three-point shot, that'll make things so much easier. And Maxwell Lewis, I still am really high on him. You know, he's got good size, good strength, great athleticism. I mean, the dude's explosive, good foot speed, can play defense. He's, again, a little raw. Had his ups and downs. He had that one game where he was great, where he had like 18 or 20 something points and shot super efficiently. He's shown the ability to knock down the three ball, defend at a high level, at least for the G League guys. We'll see if that translates to the NBA. But he's shown that he could be a legit 3-and-D style player. He did. He absolutely did. And I do. I really like what I saw from him. I want him to be a little more aggressive, right? Like, part of it is not his fault because, especially earlier on, he was hardly playing, right? Like, for whatever reason, they just, and maybe it's because they signed him to a 4-year deal. So it was like, we got him long-term regardless, so we don't really need to see him much. That's definitely something that I think he can deliver in, I guess. But I don't know. I wanted to see more from Lewis. I don't really blame him. It's not really his fault. You know, you're only given the hand that you're dealt. But I would have liked to see him in the moments that he got be more just aggressive, right? Like, even this game, he had 2 like wide open shots that he just passed up on. And I get he was struggling to shoot the ball, but shoot the ball, man. You're wide open, right? But I trust Darvin Ham. If he does play minutes, we'll tell him, like, dude, shoot the ball. You got the green light. Quit being scared. Shoot it. Right? You're already on the roster. You signed to 4 years. They're not going to just get rid of you. So shoot the ball. Right? That's what I'd like to see. And then lastly, Colin Castleton and Hodge. You can make an argument for either of these guys to make the roster. You really can. They weren't great today. Don't get me wrong. But we saw enough over Summer League to go, okay, like, these guys are real players. These guys are real basketball players. These guys can make an impact. These guys could easily play and get rotation minutes. Again, they're 2 guys that fit a need that the Lakers have. Not like a desperate need, but would add some depth at that center position and that shooting guard position. One looks like a young Marc Gasol. One looks like a young KCP. I think that's what you could get. I think that's what they both provide. I think they showed you enough flashes to make an argument for either of them. I don't think that the Lakers will bring both of them in, but I could see one of them, right? Like, if the Lakers go and let's say they sign, whomever, Bismack Biyombo or something like that, right? I could see them bringing in like a Colin Castleton, bringing in a Hodge, one of those 2, depending on like what they think that they would need more of. But these guys will stay on 2 ways at the bare minimum. They'll get opportunities to come in and play. They'll get opportunities to, I think, not heavy minutes or anything like that, but I really liked what I saw from these 2 guys. And I really do think that these 2 have a world of potential and can really make an impact later on down the line. I don't expect them to come in and play 30 minutes or anything like that. Like, the Lakers are deep. They have talent. The Lakers are good. But I do absolutely see them both kind of, you can put them out there and they're not going to ruin what you got going on, right? I think you could put both of them out there and they're not, like, they can play the game and they can do what you need them to do over the course of said game, right? So I like that. And that's what you're looking for, especially from like undrafted guys. You're looking for guys that can they come in a pinch and provide quality minutes if need be. I think these 2 guys can do that. And I do think these 2 guys, I wouldn't be shocked if these 2 are our starters at some point. Like, seriously. I mean, these are 2 guys that show a lot of glimpse. I mean, they have a long way to go. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, like, next year, that's it. Like, we got our starters. Like, we'll just move Reeves to the 1. And, no, I'm not saying that. But I could see in the next, 3, 4 years, I wouldn't be shocked if Colin Castleton is our starting center and we have we have Hodge as our starting 2 guard and winning with these 2. But anyway, again, little disappointment. We'll start breaking down all of these pieces, all these guys diving into 2 ways, kind of give grades for all these players and stuff beginning tomorrow. So look out for that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What'd you think of Summer League? How'd you feel? What are your thoughts? Love to hear it. Let me know.